Okay, today we're going to do an unboxing of the new data pack from Android Netrunner called True Colors. It's not an actual unboxing. As you can see, the box is already pretty much torn to shreds, and actually the cards already have sleeves on them, so it's just basically going through all the cards and figuring out what's what and if this data pack is something you want to purchase or not. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. First up, we have from Anarch, we have two cards. The first one is Keyhole. This is a program that allows you to make a run on R&D. If successful, instead of accessing cards, look at the top 3 cards of R&D and trash one of those cards at no cost, even if it cannot normally be trashed, and the corp shuffles R&D. This is better than R&D interface. This is something you can install. It's a click-triggered ability, so you can use it any time during the game. If you do it at the very beginning, and they have both R&D and archives unprotected, you can go ahead and keyhole into R&D. See they have an agenda as one of their top 3 cards. Go ahead and trash that, and then make a run on archives with click 2. This has 3 influence cost. It costs 4 to install, and it uses up 2 MU. Next we have Activist Support. Activist Support is a resource. It costs 1 to install and has a faction cost of 2. It says when the corp turn begins, take 1 tag if you have no tags. When your turn begins, give the corp 1 bad publicity if he or she has no bad publicity. So this is pretty much throwing down the gauntlet here. This is saying, I'll take a tag during your turn, you're going to take a bad publicity during my turn. Pretty aggressive, and it seems to be where the game's going. Love it. What do the criminals have? Well, criminal gives us Lawyer Up. Lawyer Up is a double event that costs 2 to play, and it uses 1 faction cost. As an additional cost to play this event, spend a click. Of course, that's what a double means. Remove up to 2 tags and draw 3 cards. So it looks like Account Siphon just found her dance partner. Account Siphon and Lawyer Up, you take those 2 Account Siphon tags, and then for 2 less credits than you would have normally spent shaking those tags, you can also draw 3 cards. Look for Account Siphon and Lawyer Up to be a lot of combos in decks. That's pretty good. Next we have Leverage. I love this card for Gabe. Leverage is an event that costs 1 to play, has 2 influence cost. Play only if you made a successful run on HQ this turn. Prevent all damage until the beginning of your next turn unless the corp takes 2 bad publicity. You can already kind of see the theme happening here. Criminal also has a new icebreaker. Garrett. Garrett costs 7 to install, eats up 2 MU, has a strength of 2, and has a faction cost of 3. It's a killer icebreaker. For 1 credit, you break a sentry subroutine. For 1 credit, you get +1 strength. So this is basically kind of a modified, changed up Femme Fatale. Femme Fatale would cost you 9 credits to install, and she'd only use up 1 MU and 1 faction influence. That being said, it requires 2 credits to give her more strength. So this is a way to save money, but it's going to eat up your MU, and it's going to be tougher to splash in Anarch and Shaper decks. Speaking of Shaper, we have LLDS Processor. It's a piece of hardware, a chip, costs 1 to install, and uses 1 influence. Whenever you install an icebreaker, that icebreaker has +1 strength until the end of the run, or the end of the turn, excuse me. +1 strength until the end of the turn. So your first turn that you install the icebreaker, you want to go ahead and use it, you get an extra point of strength. Very good card. Here's one we've been hearing about for a while, Capstone. Capstone's a unique card. It's a piece of hardware that costs 2 to install, has a faction cost of 3. For 1 click, trash any number of cards from your grip. For each trashed card of which you have another copy installed, draw 1 card. So you have that toolbox already installed, and you draw the other 2, because of course you have 3 toolboxes in your deck. If you have 2 toolboxes in your grip and you already have 1 installed, you can trash them and draw 2 other cards. Very, very good. And then we have Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter got spoiled a few months ago. Everybody knows about this one. It's an icebreaker. At a cost of trashing it, break any number of destroyer subroutines. Destroyer ice would be like Rototurret, Archer, that's a big one. Burk Bugs, I believe Eli, Ichi, there's a lot of destroyer ice. Break any number of destroyer subroutines at the cost of trashing it for 1 credit plus 2 strength. It has a strength of 3, a base strength of 3, and it costs 1 to install and uses up 1 MU. And now here's the runner card you probably heard a lot about, and not for all the right reasons. Very, very bad word on this card. Starlight Crusade Funding. Starlight Crusade Funding is a resource. It's a neutral resource. Costs 1 to install. There's obviously no faction cost. When your turn begins, lose a credit. Ignore any additional cost on each double event you play. So you're going to lose a click anyway when you played a double card. Now it's saying for the whole game you just don't get that click. But you're only charged 1 click to play a double. Now before we jump to conclusions on here, it's a really, really lousy card so far. It's going to get better. Hopefully. Can't get any worse. On to the court. Rex Campaign. Haas Bioroid has a new asset. It's an advertisement. Costs 1 to res. Has a trash cost of 3. Place 3 power counters on Rex Campaign when it is resed. When there are no power counters left on Rex Campaign, trash it and either remove 1 bad publicity or gain 5 credits. When your turn begins, remove 1 power counter from Rex Campaign. So you're basically anticipating the bad publicity 3 turns in advance. If you don't still have bad publicity 3 turns later, well, you get 5 credits. Not bad. Can only be used once, though, obviously. HB has a new ice, Fenris. Fenris is Sentry AP Illicit Ice. Has a res cost of 4 and a strength of 2. Has an influence cost of 2. Says when you res Fenris, take 1 bad publicity. The 2 subroutines are do 1 brain damage and end the run. Here's an interesting upgrade from HB. This is Panic Button. Panic Button costs 1 to res, has a trash cost of 2. Install only in the root of HQ. For 1 credit, draw 1 card. Use this ability only during a run in HQ. So if you know there's going to be a successful run, he's going to get into your hand, he's going to find an agenda, you can draw an extra card and lower the odds a little bit. All at the cost of 1 credit. What do you think Kentucky has in this deck? An ambush? You're right. Shock. An ambush asset that costs 0 to res, has a trash cost of 2. If shock is accessed from R&D, the runner must reveal it. When the runner accesses shock, do 1 net damage, even if it's not installed. So this is going to go great alongside Snare, Project Junebug, all the other weapons Kentucky has. And here's another one that I like a lot. Tsurugi. Tsurugi is a Sentry AP Ice that costs 6 to res, has a strength of 2, and uses a faction influence of 2. First subroutine is end the run unless the court pays 1 credit. Second subroutine is do 1 net damage. Third subroutine, do 1 net damage. Fourth subroutine, do 1 net damage. So you can either ETR or you can pay a credit and do 3 net damage. Not bad. Speaking of damage, check out what NBN brought us. TGTBT, Too Good to Be True. It's their new agenda. It's an ambush. It requires 3 to advance, has a strength of 1. Says if TGTBT is accessed from R&D, the runner must reveal it. When the runner accesses TGTBT, give the runner 1 tag. Kentucky is spreading its habits into NBN. Next we have Sweeps Week. Sweeps Week is an NBN operation. 1 to play, has an influence cost of 2. Gain 1 credit for each card in the runner's grip. Hello Andromeda. Thanks for starting with 9 cards. I think I'll start with 9 credits. Awesome card. 1 new NBN Ice, RSVP. RSVP is a Code Gate Ice. Has a res cost of 3, strength of 4. Does not have ETR, but it does have 1 subroutine. RSVP says, the runner cannot spend any credits for the remainder of this run. Ooh, very useful. Wayland only has 2 cards, but check out what those 2 cards are. The first one is Curtain Wall. Curtain Wall is a barrier ice that has a res cost of 14, strength of 3, but it says if Curtain Wall is the outermost piece of ice protecting a server, it has plus 4 strength. 3 subroutines. End the run, end the run, end the run. Now, this is basically calling Inside Job out. This is a chance for Inside Job to jump over a monster piece of ice. Or this ice will just end the run right off the bat. What can Wayland do that's even tougher than that? How about Punitive Counterstrike? Punitive Counterstrike is a Black Ops operation that costs 3 to play, has an influence cost of 2. It says base strength of 5 trace. If successful, do meat damage to the runner equal to the number of agenda points on agendas he or she stole during his or her last turn. They're going to get in there and find TGTBT, get a tag, you come back the next turn, and thank them for it by doing 5 meat damage. No, I'm sorry, doing 1 meat damage. That's tough. That could be a tough card. And then finally we have one neutral corp card. Veterans Program. Veterans Program requires 3 to advance. It's worth 1 point. It's an initiative agenda. When you score a Veterans Program, you may remove up to 2 bad publicity. So you can obviously see the theme in this data pack. It's all about tags and bad publicity. The game's really changing, and this is getting a lot more aggressive. There's some things in here that are ready to go, ready to be put in decks immediately. And there's some things that need a little bit of work, and we'll have to see how things go with it. Anyway, I hope you make a decision if you want to get True Colors. If you're just wondering what the cards are because you have your copy coming in the mail, at least you know now.